I'd just like you to spend 3 minutes introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your background and how you come to be standing as a candidate. Thank you.
So first I just wanted to say thanks very much to the Queen Edith Forum for organising this event this evening, and also to Sean for comparing. I mean, it is, I think, a great example of Queen Edith that we have these types of hustings. They don't take place across the city, and we're one of the few wards that do have these hustings, and I think it's a great example of the type of community that Queen Edith is, which is a community with quite a distinct identity, a real community feel to it, and lots going on, and really great community involvement. So thank you so much for organising and having me here to talk about why I'm standing for the council this time round. So my name's Beth. I am a local resident here in Queen Edith. I was born at the Rosie Maternity and grew up around here until I was about 11 years old. And in fact, I've just met again somebody that I went to Morley School with. So it's just wonderful to come back and sort of reconnect with Queen Edith's community. So I did return with my family, and as Sean says, I've got a child in a local school now. And I came back to Queen Edith because of the distinct nature of Queen Edith and what a fantastic place it is to live, and I do really believe that. I know lots of issues will be raised this evening. Lots of things that people want to see improved across the ward and across the city, but I do genuinely think it's a fantastic community to live in, and I'm very proud to be representing Labour and hoping to stand and become your city councillor and represent Queen Edith and your views. A bit about my background. I, as Sean says, for the best part of the last 8 years, I have set up and been running as chief exec a charity that operates across Europe, and we assist vulnerable children who happen to be refugees, many of whom are unaccompanied. And I did that because I had a very formative experience having travelled to Calais and realised that there were very many children there who were separated from families and didn't have any support or assistance. But what does that mean about me, really? I'm not standing to work with refugees here in Queen Edith. But what it means is that I know how to run an organisation. I also know how to work with government, local authorities and national governments to get things done and to advocate for communities. And I particularly know how to advocate for people who often feel like they're shut out of the process and the system, who don't feel like they have a voice. And that's particularly true when you talk about children and refugees. So why do I want to stand for Queen Edith and represent the views of Queen Edith on the City Council for Labour? As I said, I think it's a fantastic place to live, but Queen Edith is also, as you all know, at a point of real change. In fact, lots of the big questions are being raised within Queen Edith. How do we see sustainable development? What does that look like? If we want to build affordable housing, how can we do that in a way that protects our important biodiversity and natural environment, and also shares, the resources and the benefits of that development equally across communities, and has a light footprint and impact on local communities, of which we are one, which obviously the campus is a big area of development for us, and I know a big concern for people with the green belt as well. So I think Queen Edith, there's a lot going on in Queen Edith. It's a site of real change and development, and I would love to see a Labour city councillor representing this community for the first time in I think a number of years to put forward the Labour agenda, which is all about sharing that prosperity for all, tackling, supporting people with the cost of living crisis at the moment, and also seeing sustainable development within our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Beth.
Okay, before I start, I would firstly like us to show our appreciation to Queen Edith Community Forum for organising this event, to St John's for hosting, and thank you to all who are attending or watching the Hustings. Okay, over to me. My name is Imogen, but many people I've met over the years in Queen Edith probably know me best as Emmy. Myself and my family have lived in Queen Edith for the past 6 years. Whilst working in the NHS, I completed my biomedical degree via an apprenticeship. As a local person living here, having a range of disabilities, undertaking carers' responsibilities in my family, wanting but not being able to afford my own home here, I am well aware of how tough people are finding it today. That's why, long before I was lucky enough to become your Lib Dem representative, I have been actively involved in local community initiatives. I've been engaged in areas such as Nightingale Garden, Hope's Garden, the QE Community Forum, its Skip Days and Food Hub. As a police cadet leader, I have a commitment to spreading the good work of the local neighbourhood watch schemes. Since having the honour of being elected as your Lib Dem City Councillor, I recognise my status has changed. However, if I am to be described as a politician, then this means working with the community. From working with the families of Queen Ediths, I would say I've come to understand local people know their community best. Solutions are often community-led, coming from people's knowledge of their own patch. They are not centralised or top-down, rather small-scale, engaging and valuing local people's views, opinions and expertise. That being said, I recognise the bigger picture as it affects Cambridge today, the UK's fastest growing city, with all the benefits and tensions this creates. So my politics is about fairness, the growth of the city, its ongoing need to be sustainable, and the wealth it creates needs to be shared equally. At one level, I am a city councillor, plugged into the decision-making processes, attending high-risk committee to prioritise our pothole problems. At another level, I'm a street-level politician, taking part in speedwatch sessions to combat antisocial driving. On the strategic level, I have met with CUH governors and chief executive teams to promote the need for a neighbourhood impact report to investigate the unintended consequences of biomedical campus expansion, be that parking stress or environmental degradation. More locally, with an emphasis on environmental sustainability, I have supported Nightingale Gardens' biodiversity bid and am working with residents on various streets to promote biodiversity while finding ways to preserve our verges. I have contributed 6 years community action in Queen Edith, with nearly 6 months now as your city councillor. This has led me to an approach of helping the community, best summed up in the support I gave on a local bid for a school street. As a community champion, I was well aware of the concerns of parents for their children's safety when speeding cars and motorbikes. And as a local councillor, I am also aware of the government research that walking and wheeling needs to increase so parking problems from schools are not pushed onto neighbouring streets. I was engaged in Queen Edith long before I became your local city councillor, and I can achieve so much more for the community as your elected city councillor if you again give me your support. Thank you.
Hi, so my name's Oliver Fisher. I'll be your Green Party candidate for this election. I'm also standing as the Green Party candidate for South Cambridgeshire at the parliamentary elections as well. I don't live in this ward, but I have lived in this area for a long time, so I've been in this area for about 15 years. I spent about 12 years in Teversham, which is fantastic, and I worked nearby. Basically, I was asked to stand in this ward because I couldn't stand in the ward that I live in, and I was very keen to do so. I believe passionately in local government, and I think I could make a real difference on the council. Having worked as a parish councillor for 9 years, and I did kind of see it as work. It was like an additional thing. It was volunteering, but it's something that you have to put effort into. I learned a lot about local government, and learned a lot about how the city council kind of works through that work as well. I've been active in the Green Party for 10 years, and I think I was looking for a political home. It took some time to kind of find one, but when I found the Green Party, finally found the Green Party, it's a fantastic kind of group of people to kind of work with, and I know that the Greens are doing some great work in the city and making some real progress. Being elected to the city council. While I was involved with Teversham Parish Council, I was on the finance committee, and I was also vice chair for a year. We delivered lots of projects in the area, so we delivered a new skate park, we delivered a community orchard, a new sports pavilion, and did lots of other good work in the village. Obviously, as you'd expect, I'm particularly interested in environmental issues. So if you elect me, I'll be focused on things like green spaces, air quality, public transport, also the cost of living crisis at the moment and water security. But I would, of course, listen to all of you as local residents, and I'd focus on the issues that are important to you. So if you were to elect me as councillor, I would work to deliver for Queen Edith, and I would also leverage the existing Green councillors on the City Council to kind of get things done. So Cambridge and Queen Edith is a wonderful place to live, and I want to do my bit to make life here just that little bit better. Thank you.
Why should we vote for you? And you have 1 minute. I'll give you a 10-second warning.
Well, firstly, thank you, Queen Edith Community Forum, for organising this Hustings. With resident support as your elected councillor, I have had many achievements in Queen Edith, covering potholes to planning, lighting to licensing, waste to wheelie bins. Also such things as school run and safe school streets, pavements and safe routes for pedestrians, antisocial behaviour and unadopted roads, the list goes on. Success has been through being out there, meeting, talking and taking instructions from Queen Edith residents, signposting and supporting residents with the issues that affect them daily on their doorsteps and in their community. As many are aware, I was engaged in the Queen Edith ward long before I became your local city councillor, and whatever the result of the upcoming election, I will remain actively involved in this community. But I can achieve so much more for the community as your elected city councillor if you again give me your support.
If you elect me to this position, I will work super hard, and I will dedicate as much time as I can to to this community. So yeah, I'm passionate about local government. I see the importance of it, and I can see that the Green Party is making, we are making steps to actually having real influence on the City Council, and I want to be part of that as well. So yeah, I will work really hard for this community. I will, I will work on particularly on environmental issues, of course, but I will also, speak to you all and listen to you and be guided by you as to the things that this community wants and needs.
So as I said at the beginning, I was born here, I grew up here, moved away, and I've come back because I think Queen is a fantastic place to live. But it's at a point of real change, and I would love to represent this community and be a strong voice for this community at this point of change as the community grows and develops, to make sure that the community's views are heard and represented in that development and that change, and that that principles like environmental sustainability, our biodiversity, and affordability are placed right at the heart of that growth and change within our community. So I'd love to be your representative. I'd love to be a strong voice for Queen Edith, and yeah, that's it.